talking about Kirby Mexicans about
The
not.
fuck? Oh, you're lucky she got high.
You fucking normal.
You fucking normal. That means
God. Pull up in a monster on my belt gangster.
Please take a shower.
Totally.
I'm gonna have to talk to my manager while
You're ruining Christmas. Just my opinion.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of
Just my opinion.
And today we have our usual little squad. I'm Lexi, and today I am the host of today's episode. We can go in a little more detail about what that means later. Then we also have
Brayden. Hello, everyone.
And Sunny.
And Isaiah.
alrighty.
To specify, it is season 2, episode 3.
Season
Wow,
2, episode 3. How many
we're
episodes
getting
is that
into
total?
it.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
Couldn't remember.
I was like, we're on episode
finally-
4 after 3 years of this shit.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was about to say. We finally were able to all get together to do a little pod. We're still missing one of the besties who might be joining us later. I don't know if they'll be joining us during the pod, but, later on
Our
this
pod usually go for,
evening.
40 minutes.
But today, we decided to do something a little different. I know Brayden is normally the one to do all the talking. But for today, I have requested to be the host, and basically I'm going to be the one asking questions today. Now, a lot of these questions are mostly my shower thoughts. So I have these random thoughts and sometimes I'll just text the group chat being like, have you ever thought of blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what is wrong with you? Why are you saying this? So basically that's what this pod is going to be about. And we're going to talk about some of those random thoughts that I've had.
We're so ready.
But before we get into that,
possible.
how is everybody doing? How's everybody's lives? Anything you want to update us on?
I'm full. I just had 3 meals today. I'm stuffed.
Bed rotting, TV watching. Yeah,
You're a changed man.
I am a changed man. You know what? I went from watching 10 hours of television to 20 hours of television.
Wow. Whoa.
And for that, we should applaud you.
I mean, I do deserve a medal. The Medal of Freedom.
Stay at home son, professionally.
And you know what?
Real. Isaiah, how about yourself?
it was pretty good. I spent I went to bed at 9 a.m.
8.
And then I went to work at 2. I got pushed back, so I went to work at 2 p.m.
I thought you were supposed to start at 2.
I got pushed back.
So you went in at 3?
Yeah, I was not supposed to come in.
Okay. And how was work today?
It was good for a Friday. Honestly, normally it's really busy. We're at a snow cone place.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, people. I love my customers. It's just busy sometimes.
It is.
It's just really busy.
Just busy. Yeah, I also work at the same location, so.
Oh, actually, update them on that. You know how in the last episode, Lexi said she was working at a grocery store?
Stop!
That lasted for approximately how long? How long was it?
It was 2 weeks. Not even. It was a week and a half, really.
And she made the decision a week in and then ran it by everyone she knows in the world to be like, hey guys, I perhaps don't like this job.
Okay, listen. So I originally worked at this snow cone. Okay.
Unnamed corporate snow cone business, as if there's 5 in the world.
You would never know. Okay, so I originally worked at the snow cone shop. I'm a shift lead. I was making a set amount of money, but there was nowhere for me to improve and make more money until assistant managers left. So I was like, okay, I'll look for another job. So then I went and applied at the grocery store, got the job. It was in curbside. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. For some people, it may be amazing because you don't have to talk to anyone. It's very minimal customer interaction. You can't listen to your earpods or anything though. So that's probably where the biggest thing was. Is I was just in my head the whole time. And my head is a crazy place, guys. You're gonna see this pod. You're gonna see this pod. So just having a 5-6 hour shift, just walking around collecting groceries on my own. Not being able to listen to anything to keep my mind occupied, it was rough for me. So I just really hated it. I didn't like it at all. It was also really hot outside because where we live, it's super, super hot and humid.
An unnamed place.
An
So-
unnamed place.
An unnamed country.
Place. Unnamed grocery
Yeah.
store.
Actually, our names are also classified. These are all our
top
races.
secret.
So anyways, I really hated it. Talked to everybody I knew and was like, I know the pay is higher at the grocery store, but I hate it. So I asked my old manager, can I have my job back? And she was like, yeah, sure, come back. So
She said, well, yes.
back at the snow cone shop, it, you know, I still have moments where I don't like it, but you know, it's a job.
Now,
But I still like it better than the grocery store.
so
That is,
would you say it's the lesser of two evils?
yes.
You think so?
For me personally, some people might not agree.
Right.
Because the snow cone job, a lot of customer service is obviously a food service job. So there's a lot of like stuff that comes with that. But like, I don't know. I just really like it a lot better for me. I also really like that you get to hang out with the crew and you actually get to meet your coworkers.
Tom Fuller.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Because even when it's like busy, sometimes you can still joke around with like your coworkers because like you're working with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's
know?
a small space, and you're all like right there. It's not like
Yeah.
fucking massive unnamed grocery store.
Yeah.
I wanted to update the viewers that we just watched a movie called
Oh,
Bodies,
bodies.
bodies.
I have been waiting to watch this again for so long because I saw it in theaters for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is so cunty. This is so new gen. This is like the face of cinema.
I wish
drama.
you were here to watch it.
I
Isaiah.
wish you were.
I
Let's
wish
watch
you
it
were
again.
here.
Let's watch it again.
Okay, I would watch it again.
I would watch
That
it
was
again.
a
Would you-
good
would you
movie. I would watch it again.
It was a good ass movie.
If you want to,
If you want
Isaiah.
to.
We won't
It is
force you
a
to
like
watch a
2-hour
movie.
movie. Like as most movies are. So if you don't want to, it's fine. But it was a cunty movie. It was very Gen Z drama, like Twitter humor. Like
The only scene that I knew going in was your parents are upper middle class.
Your parents are upper middle class. No, they're not. Jordan. They are. They teach at a university. It's public.
That's the only.
yeah, because
I didn't even know it was from that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a horror comedy satire thing.
Yeah.
And it like pokes fun at the type of people that the movie is about, you know?
Right.
So it's like making fun of this very specific type of person and like over exaggerating like the ridiculousness of the situation.
Right.
So it was very fun. It was a little bloody, but not that bloody actually, compared to a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. All the characters just had blood like all over
That
them.
was kind of just like how they were
You
living.
know.
Compared to other American shows.
Okay, no, that's real.
Yeah. Okay, so
So
All right,
that
get
will
into
be in the vernacular.
all right. So
No.
now that we have all the updates out of the way, welcome back to another episode, season 2, episode 3, right?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay, so I have a list of things here that I have thought about. Now, one of these is credited to someone that I found like on Instagram because they said it and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's an amazing thought. So
Right.
yeah.
It must be true. Who would lie on the internet?
Okay, so
Right.
the first one, I have talked about this one before.
Multiple times.
So, story for the viewers, right? Or the listeners, not the viewers.
Reviewing a blank screen.
In high school, me, Isaiah, and Alexis were walking from our third period class to our next period all together. Now, our third period was way back in the back corner of the school, so it was like kind of a long walk. And we passed by the restrooms, and by the restrooms on the floor was a dead cockroach.
Oh, this shit again.
Isaiah's face was like, oh, fuck this again.
So, as we were walking past, a thought popped into my head. Cause you know, like, so you see like dead roaches, like occasionally in large places like school sometimes, you know? So,
Sometime.
yeah. So
chance.
I had a thought, what if another cockroach were to see the dead cockroach on the ground, right? Would they feel remorse for that cockroach? And now, before you say, no, absolutely not, Lexi, you're so stupid. How would you know that they don't feel the remorse?
Okay.
He said, get me on this shit. He held his hand up for the mic and went, Okay, sit your ass down.
Okay. I will say, in nature, there is a behavior that animals do have. It's like something on the spectrum that we cannot hear or see. It's like wasps. If you kill one, they know one has been killed, so they come to you. If you kill an ant, the ants are going to come and know one has been killed, right? So I don't think roaches have that ability. So I know where you're coming from. However, you said, do you think that the roach can have an emotional state where he has an exponential amount of sadness and remorse? I'm like, okay, but
Well, no.
I don't think they have like the capacity to like.
How do you know?
I don't either.
They're roaches. They're roaches.
Okay, yes, but hear me out. Okay, so there is so much research that we have not done, right? I know that we have these roaches, right? We know about their like anatomical structure. What if there's like another level to it that our scientists just haven't found?
They're telepathic?
Noted entomologist
You don't know.
Alexis Spencer.
Exactly.
Cockroach souls.
Cockroach souls.
Gross
Cockroach
auras.
heaven.
Or
Minus
Oh.
10,000 aura for dying.
What do y'all think?
no.
Isaiah, you were there with me when I first came up with the thought.
I feel like we have certain animals that have the capacity for grief, but when I think about that, I think of like dolphins and like whales and octopi and not really roaches. Because there is research that's been done that's shown that like certain animals have a very similar to emotional response to the death of their own. So like there was some like aquatic creature, like I think it was dolphins. Like their child would die and then the mom would just like visibly grieve.
Right.
Or like, yes, it was orcas, yes. And they like don't eat properly and they don't swim properly and all this other shit. And I'm like,
Right.
but do roaches really have the capacity for that?
Has anyone ever tested it?
Have you?
No.
I fully think if a roach came across another roach, it would eat it.
I actually
That's real.
agree.
Okay, you have a good point. You've never said this point before, Isaiah.
No.
I've had this thought for like 3 years now. Like,
I can imagine Lexi going to bed every single night, but right whenever she closes her eyes, she thinks of this fucking thought. And you know what? Maybe it's just like a Lexi thing. Maybe we should let it happen. I don't know, but I mean, I get where you're coming from.
okay, this is why it's the first thing on the list.
Okay. We're experienced in this question because you ask it
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
I think they have done stuff on like, can you train roaches the way you can train a dog? I'm pretty sure they're too stupid for it. Like they just don't have the amount of like neural connections because you can train a human to do, or you can tell a human to do something.
Whoa.
Okay. Humans can be conditioned. Dogs can be conditioned. Octopi can learn. Orcas can be trained. But like roaches,
I don't
really?
know.
You've been to
I don't
like
know.
a roach show
Okay,
recently?
But this question can also extend to other kinds of animals.
SeaWorld's new roach
'Cause,
exhibit.
like,
But
I don't know.
But once you start relating to other animals, you have to think of different like brain capacities.
I think that's what it is.
That's fair.
I feel like roaches are just too minuscule on the scale of like brain intelligence. Yeah, because they're definitely really fucking smart animals. I just don't think roaches are any of those.
Also, the fact that the world's gonna end and they're gonna be the only things living on the earth.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
that's terrible. I hate that they can survive anything.
Right?
It's actually horrible to think about. Oh, we had a scorpion in our house yesterday, and I killed it with the chair leg.
Oh.
I don't know, it just came to mind. We're talking about roaches.
Whenever we first moved into our house, because it was new when we got it, there were scorpions in there all the time. Because behind our house, now there's like that whole neighborhood back there, but behind our house when we first moved in, there was just a huge field of nothing. It was just grass. There was nothing out there. So like all that separated us from that huge ass field was a fence. So we had scorpions in our house all the time. There was one time that I remember my dad like freaked out because there was like a big ass scorpion and it had a bunch of tiny little babies on its back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Grow up. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what he did with it because I wasn't home. I just heard the story when I got back home, but that was a lot of years ago now. So we've been in that house forever. And now there's a whole neighborhood behind us and we don't really get bugs inside the house anymore.
No, we still get scorpions every once in a while, but like we just came back from vacation and there was like one
Yeah.
like scuttling around. So I moved a chair right up close to it, picked it up and dropped it, and like you heard a
Nice.
crunch.
All right. So
Do you know that scorpions are bioluminescent?
I've heard that. Yes, it's so scary. They glow in the dark,
They
right?
do.
that's kinda
Scorpions
cool,
glow in the
actually.
dark. It is sick.
Okay. Anything else to say about this topic?
About the roaches.
I think the consensus is that we do not think that roaches possess the intellectual capacity to have grief for one another.
I agree. I don't
Okay.
think they're aware enough to process something like that.
Right?
Versus other I believe there are animals that feel grief and like, or what we call grief, like an error in behavior when they see like one of their own dead or like one of their
Right,
children
right.
dead.
So the answer is no, Lexi.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
okay.
believe that's with
That's
roaches.
okay. That's
But
why I brought it to the
Who
pod.
knows? Who
That's why I
knows?
brought it to the pod, so we can talk about it. Okay, now this next one.
That was number one.
We've known that one.
We've known that one. We're gonna be completely blindsided by the next one.
Oh, no. I'm scared.
So is water wet?
No. Let me add it to the list right now. Is water
Oh my God.
wet? We're gonna talk about it. Okay, so this next one I've mentioned a couple times, not as often as the cockroach one, but you have heard this one from me before. So colors looking different to different people. Okay, no, listen,
This is
listen.
almost on the
So-
level of the roaches in terms of how many times we've heard it.
Almost.
Have
okay,
we done this
so
on a pod before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, no, it's like, so you see this color?
Mhm.
We all call this color blue.
Right.
But what if I see green, but to you, it's what I see as purple?
Human nature.
Why is there like 3 different colors in that sentence?
No, so like,
We call it blue, but it's actually green, but he sees it purple.
so like when you were a kid, you learned this color to be called blue. But what if you aren't seeing the same blue I'm seeing?
Yeah.
So like I know we have color blindness. Like that's not what I'm talking about. Stop doing that. Every time you do it, I get scared.
when we were coming up here, she swore up and down she heard the attic doors close.
Turned out,
And I was like,
people put it in the
No, it wasn't because they weren't up there yet.
They weren't up here yet. No, because I swear to you, they were open. I turned around as they were shutting. I swear. I hate y'all. Okay, so like we've always learned to call this color blue.
right.
But what if I see like what I know as blue, but what I know as, say, I don't know, green is what Isaiah is seeing.
Right.
But like we would never know because we know this color is blue because that's what we learned it as. And I know there's like all this scientific shit about like the refractions of the colors and the stuff like that.
all the scientific. Okay, Republican. Okay, conservative.
Republican.
Science is. I know
This has
there's a
nothing to do with
science
that.
nonsense.
Okay,
No, I get it.
Yeah.
What's the question?
It's just a topic.
It's just a topic to talk about.
I don't know.
Like,
Do you
think
believe?
that that's like true? Like, do you think people see colors in different ways?
Of course. It like stretches back to like how men are more likely to be colorblind and how we're going to see the world differently inherently. That's it's going to happen no matter what. I think that's like we all see the world in a different shade and a different light. And of course that comes with like genetics and how people see the colors that we see. Of course, you're going to see a different, maybe we have like a little bit of overlap, but of course people's eyes are different. They're going to see different shades. It's going to be different colors, different people. Period.
Okay.
I agree. I think like we could have like slight differences in how we see shades and colors, but like, is there ever any way to prove that? Because they can't. Because there's no way to objectively be like, this is purple because literally what people see as purple is different things. So
Right.
I think it's a possibility that because of like I don't know the shape of our eyes or whatever shit. Like I don't know. Maybe our cones and rods are different. We're seeing different colors, but like. I don't think it would be like drastically different colors, if you know what I mean. Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Isaiah's seeing a red sky right now, but he thinks that's normal. But like, I feel like we're not seeing that drastically different things. But I do believe that our eyes might cause us to see slightly different shades.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Isaiah.
I agree to what Sunny said. I don't think it's ever going to be drastic enough to a point where, oh my gosh, that's green. when it's a blue,
Yeah.
blue to everyone else, unless it's color blindness.
Right.
Okay.
But it could be like if color blindness was in like a smaller amount almost, then you could have like different shades. It's like a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think,
period.
Lexi?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think also, like, I've obviously thought about it before. It's on the pod. I definitely think people see colors differently. Because I know a lot of times, like, I will point to something and I'll be like, hey, can you grab that orange thing? And someone will be like, that's not orange. And I'm like, girl, what are you talking? That is orange. Or, like, especially when it comes to, like, blues and purples, like, at a point, it just gets either so dark blue it looks purple, or it's like, you know, like, it kind of mixes together. And I'm like, that is blue, my guy. But then they're like, no, that's purple. That is a dark purple.
Just go in the middle and call it violet.
Yeah, violet or indigo almost.
Okay.
Or indigo,
okay.
yeah, that's what I was thinking
I
of.
forgot indigo is a color.
Indigo
honestly.
is the like
The girl.
blue purple for me.
She's the girl.
She's that girl. She's that bitch.
Anyways, so that's that. Y'all ready to move on to the next one?
Next topic,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, now this one is the one that I saw on Instagram. The tag was Tori Yokai.
Huh?
So TORIYOKII on Instagram. And I think it was a reel that I saw it on, but they said, if you're allergic to fish, can you go scuba diving?
I think yes.
Yes, my sister is allergic to fish, and she can.
Okay, well, that's all.
Okay, but like, do you think they would ever have like an allergic reaction to it? Like if it's like just by exposure, because you know there's different kinds of allergicness, right? Some where you just like have to digest it, but others you can just be exposed to it. It's kind of like peanuts in a way. If you're just exposed to it, do you think you can go swimming in the ocean and stuff? Because like there's literally all of their juices all up in there.
Well, are you talking like scuba diving with a suit or just like no clothes?
Probably either one.
Are there people with an allergy to fish where all you have to do is touch it? Because I know in nuts there's like, oh, you ingest it or you touch it or you breathe the air. But for fish or like seafood, I feel like I've only ever heard of like
I'm assuming
consumption allergies.
I think there is, but I think my sister is like you have to digest it in order to get an allergic reaction.
Like you with shellfish.
I don't know. I would say I think they would not get an allergic reaction by scuba diving, but I feel like it is a possibility.
I also think they would not get an allergic reaction from scuba diving just because it is hard for me to imagine that, like, maybe it's like the fish juices or something. And then, like, the ocean, you're, like, surrounded by so much salt water.
Yeah,
and, like,
it.
yeah, it's, like, diluted. So would it even be strong enough to cause an allergic reaction?
Yeah.
Also, I've never once ever been to any kind of ocean thing. They're like, make sure you're not allergic to fish. Like,
Exactly.
I think that's the thing for me. I've never heard of that. And I've done, like, a decent amount of ocean stuff. Like, even deep in the water. And they've never been like, hey, if you have a fish allergy, like, keep some Zyrtec.
Don't come
Don't do it. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
I agree. I think it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I know peanuts, people can like get an allergy from the air.
Right.
Which is why on planes they're like, hey, there's a person with a peanut allergy, you can't eat peanuts.
Through it, back, through it, forward,
Yeah.
no peanuts.
That's why I was like thinking about it, because like if you are, I don't know, it's probably not as common because most people have to digest it, right? Like eat it. But like if it is by exposure, I don't know, maybe it is just diluted that much being in the ocean.
Maybe
but
that's what it is.
I don't know.
People should just stop being allergic to things.
Oh.
Like me.
Right, just thug it out.
Oh,
Wait, are y'all allergic to things?
No.
I'm
not
allergic
allergic
to
to anything.
shellfish.
No, okay, okay.
We've got a weak one.
What the? No, the way I found out was I had crab and lobster and
she
shrimp for
tried
the
to miss
first
puff.
time. No, it was at a New Year's.
Swelled up.
It was at a New Year's Eve party, and we had them, and like because the people who we went to have the party with, it was at a they were having a seafood boil, and so I tried them all for the first time because my family aren't really big like seafood people, so I tried them all because, you know, that's what they had there. And like right away, like I started feeling kind of numb and like tingly. And so I just stopped eating it. And like, I kind of felt like that for the rest of the night. And like, I think I processed it, but I was like,
Right.
And then, I woke up with a rash the next morning.
Oh,
So
that's rough.
it was a really bad rash too. It was
Where?
all over my back
Oh.
and like my chest area. It just
throat.
hurt really bad.
That's what I was thinking. Your throat.
Period.
Real.
All right, so this one might get some like, oh my god. Okay, listen. What if, or do you think, magic is real? Listen.
No,
and we
I have
are
an
just
answer.
the normies.
I have an
You know,
answer.
like so in Harry Potter example, there's a whole wizarding world, and we would be the Muggles, right? Percy Jackson, you have all the demigods, and we would just be like the regular people, and the mist covers everything. You know, that's a possibility. Do you think?
I refuse to believe magic is real because I refuse to believe I don't have it. So like,
You're so
for my own sanity, I have to believe magic isn't real. Because
If I can't have it,
if I can't
no
have
one
it, it's
can.
not a real thing. Like, it would piss me off to no end that it's just out there and people are fucking flying on broomsticks and summoning water, and I'm like doing chemistry. Like, that would make me so mad. So-
here, I think.
Literally, in my mind, there is no magic because I can't have any. But also, yeah, it's kind of it.
I think all those days in elementary school where I was waterbending in the shower
Right.
shouldn't
They
making
point to
potions
something.
Yes.
and everything.
shouldn't go unnoticed.
So you should have been selected by now.
I believe so. Yes.
Where's your letter?
Yeah, where's your letter to Hogwarts? Where's your godly acceptance thing?
This is my testimony to get into that. You know.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Can we like submit a late application?
but okay. Your question is, could magic be real? No.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
It's hard for me to believe people would keep their mouths shut about it.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. TikTok
Right?
exists.
What if it's like
Governmentally
like
monitored.
death, like punishable by death?
If you post an Instagram reel about magic, we kill you, actually.
Well, okay, but also it's like if they do, what if it's just like flagged as like, you know, like a magician or like, you know, people who have tricks up their sleeves, and like it could also be editing. Like they could say it's editing and stuff like that.
I would like to be proven wrong.
I would like to be proven wrong as well. I want to see magic.
Okay, Isaiah, how do you feel about it?
What was the question? I forgot.
Is magic
think
real?
magic is like a real thing and we're just on the outside.
Yeah, life's too boring to think it isn't real. I want to believe it is real.
Okay,
That's fair. Are you holding on hope for like a magic encounter one day?
Yes. Yes.
Take me! Isekai truck, take me to another world.
Turn on my TV while I'm in my bed.
The only good reason to have magic. Bring me my
All right.
glass of water.
Now
Off
this
the
does
table.
kind of lead us into our next question. So, you know, like stuff talking about like science fiction stuff. You talking about Dune actually brought this to my attention.
Really?
I thought about it after you talked about Dune. Are science fiction books about magic, but just explaining how it works?
But
Like
If you think
sci-fi
about
books.
Dune, think about how he explains stuff about like using the voice and stuff. That's basically magic with
And
an explanation.
What is the dust thing called? Salt? Spice?
Spice.
What other sci-fi books? We would need like a broader span, because what are you talking about when you say sci-fi?
Like Star Wars?
Yeah, like the Force.
Star Wars is science fiction.
Yeah.
But did they
Yeah.
ever explain did they ever explain the Force in a sciencey manner, or was it just like, oh, you wave your hand and shit happens?
I don't know.
In The Last Jedi in 2017. Luke
Okay,
did-
right. On January 18th.
Cut the rope. Undo his gag. That one? The voice
Sorry?
from Dune.
Basically, so it's like
Wait, did
So
you just
in
say Star
Dune-
Wars? How do we get back to Dune?
I was talking about Dune.
okay, so in
Oh.
Dune, the way that the voice basically is what the Bene Gesserit have, and Bene Gesserit is like this group of people who are like trying to curate this all-powerful Messiah dude.
By combining bloodlines. They're like, you have to have a child with this person.
Yeah.
Then that child has a child with this person to create like the perfect one child.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that come full circle? Wouldn't they be related eventually?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
eventually happens, actually.
Okay, so anyways, that's what the Bene Gesserit is, and they have this thing called the voice, where basically it's them. The way that they explained in the book is that they say something and they use the voice, and it basically commands you to do something. So it's kind of like voice control, mind control, kind of ish. But
Okay.
they basically how it's explained is that they lower their voice to like a pitch like lower than the brain can like handle, and it just kind of makes the brain click into I have to do that command.
Oh, like the
So that's
Dog
like
whistle.
their
subliminal
explanation for it. But it's magic, bruh. It's magic.
Well,
I'm gonna give you that
Yeah.
because in Dune they call them witches,
Yes. That's
and
it.
witches
Magic.
magic. Yes. So yes.
Yes.
I was thinking maybe it's just like a humanized version of a dog whistle, but for humans.
Yeah, or
You know, maybe.
okay, or like subliminal messaging, like you know that thing where they're like, oh, in movie theaters they flash like drink Coke and eat popcorn like for half a second on the screen, and they reported like a huge increase in the amount of popcorn and soda sales. It was like a message that your active brain is not processing, but your subconscious is processing, and then they like it actually increased concession sales.
Or like Disney like pumps some smell of money in the air so you can spend more.
The smell of money.
I've never heard.
Don't they do that?
I have no idea.
They could. Greedy
Disneyland?
corporation.
But
But
yeah.
sponsor us, Disney.
So the question was: is science fiction what?
Is science fiction basically magic with explanations?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I actually agree. I think that a lot of like high sci-fi, like all that stuff, is bordering on what we'd call magic. But to be fair, a lot of the stuff we have now would be seen as magic back then. So I think the idea is it's stuff that we're just like not advanced enough to invent yet. So it seems like magic to us. Like, you know, a long time ago, having like electricity and like planes and like hovering through magnetism that's literally magic, like levitating, floating. But like maybe one day we'd get to a point where mind control thing. I don't know. Who knows?
I'll give it to you.
What do you think, Isaiah?
I think,
I think it heavily depends on what kind of science fiction you're talking about. Because even in shout out to this game called Destiny 2. The characters you play as, they get their power from this thing called the Traveler, which is just a huge planet of pure light, and it like shares its power through these things called ghosts. And the ghosts go and find guardians, quotation marks, to help like fight against enemies in the solar system. So that's how they get their power. But I don't know if that would be considered magic, maybe. I would think so, though, for Destiny, because
I feel like that's more like channeling, right?
maybe. That's what I'm saying. It depends on which kind of science
yeah.
fiction.
Power could be almost a science.
Because if their ghost dies, they don't get the power anymore.
Oh.
The ghost can like bring them back from the dead.
Then it is like channeling, I guess, which could be seen as a type of science.
Yeah.
It's probably like a blend of both.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
wishing we had science that cool.
I know.
I think that's the fictional part about it. I wish our science was that cool
Right.
and didn't like kill trees and people.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, wouldn't it still be considered a little bit of magic? Because it brings you back from the dead.
Yeah, that probably is. It's like a blend of magic and science.
Okay. Anything else to say on the topic?
Consensus? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that yes.
It's a
A lot
yes
of
from
science
you guys.
fiction blends with magic.
Okay. Period. That was one of the
That
ones
was
I
one of
was.
the yeses.
Let's go.
That one's really heavy on my mind because every time I read a science fiction book, I'm like, this is literally like you're explaining to me how the magic works.
Yeah, I think
Like-
our idea of magic is stuff that we can't understand that doesn't exist in our world.
Okay.
So
All right.
That's good.
So next up, this one you might actually have a logical explanation for, and it might just be Lexi being dumb.
right.
So how does one like discover like a species or something? Like you're out exploring, you find like an animal or whatever, blah blah blah. How do you know that someone hasn't already found it? Because like, what if like say you don't have your phone or like you don't have reception because you're out in the middle of the jungle or something? I don't know why you'd be there, but you're out in the middle of the jungle or something.
And your
you
iPhone
find some
16.
exotic whatever. And you don't know if anybody's ever found it before, and you've never seen this thing in your life. So,
Okay. Yes. There was recently a video of two people in the forest who thought they discovered a very exotic bird, and which they thought was a new species. So they took a picture of it, and they're like, "Damn, dude, what is discovered a new species?" And they get back to their lab, and they go back to the databases, and it turns out they found out that it was already discovered. So I think there are databases.
There are databases.
Extensive.
Yeah.
And plus the way we break down animals' names and the fact that we know all of their features and stuff like that, that we can pinpoint it to where like, okay, we did discover this, we did not discover that.
Yeah, you have to like officially submit your discovery of a new animal. Also, it happens all the time, like with dinosaurs now, because they're digging up fossils. A lot of times they'll discover one that's just like they're like, oh, this isn't a different dinosaur. It's just like a younger version of a pre-existing dinosaur species. So like it takes a lot of research and like findings to declare that this is a new undiscovered species.
Right.
And like for all you know, someone's seen it before, but it just hasn't been like registered, documented. This is the features. This is like how it looks. This is what animals is probably related to. So like a lot of research to go into saying like this is definitively a new animal. And it's not just like a younger version or like a mutated version of another species.
Okay. That's what I figured is that there's just databases, but I was like, how do they like just know? Like be like, oh, I've never seen that before. Because like I've never seen a ton of freaking animals, bruh.
Well, yeah,
So-
that's why we're not the ones discovering them. Like people devote their whole lives to like going.
No, right. Like so,
Like,
say
deep
you're
into
you're a
forests.
bird specialist, right? You're looking at birds, but you're walking along and you see this cool looking freaking lizard. How are you gonna know if someone knows that or not? Because like in your brain, you don't know that it's already discovered.
Well,
They take a picture.
What if you don't have something to take a picture
Well, first
with?
of
Then why are they in the forest?
First of
I
all,
don't
I
know.
don't think a bird specialist would be interested in.
Why are you in the forest without a phone?
So I think they wouldn't take a picture to begin with. But I get what you're
Of
saying.
a lizard.
I get what you're saying.
It's like, I mean, they go into these like places in order to document new species. So they go there with their multiple cameras and their
Specific
notebooks and their
purposes.
iPad Pro and their Apple Pencil and like
Their iPhone 15 Pro,
Yeah,
54
exactly.
gigabytes over.
they go in there with all this shit in order to document it because it would be such a loss if they saw something and weren't able to document it. Because science is just document good. Science is documenting stuff. So
Okay.
I think that it would be really crazy if someone like saw a new species and just didn't record it.
Yeah, Isaiah. What do you think?
I feel like it's hard to determine if you yourself have the knowledge to know if something is new. Because you feel like if I was in the wild, I'd be like, oh, someone probably already knows what that is, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
Right.
But also, if you're in the wild, like actively exploring and trying to find a new species without taking any equipment, you're kind of like setting yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to record and document everything,
hmm
and then check when you get past or whatever.
Scientific method, yo.
Yeah, scientific method.
So yes, there's an extensive process in place in order to
Yes.
find these species.
Especially
Period.
if we're still discovering like new aquatic animals.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude,
That's what I was
Deep sea is
thinking
so
about.
fucking sick.
Because there's still like, what is it, 90% of our oceans are unexplored?
Yeah,
99%.
something like that.
99%?
Only 1% been discovered.
That's actually
Isn't that fucking
insane.
crazy?
That is
That's
crazy.
actually
I remember
insane.
hearing about like the giant squids, and the only reason they even like registered it as a thing is because they saw like claw marks on like a whale, and they're like, "What the fuck is preying on
Exactly.
a whale?" And that's when
Yeah.
they realized like giant squid were a thing, and were using their hooks to kill and eat whales.
Mhm.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, squids are really sick, and they're massive and really scary. I love those diagrams that are like, "This is a human scuba diver." This is a
yeah.
shark, and this is a fucking megalodon.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the to scale ones, those are so cool.
There's a new octopus every single day.
Another
I
question.
love octopi.
Y'all-
They got a video of a Dumbo octopus recently. It's so adorable. It has like these massive ears.
I saw
And
it.
it's like
saw that.
all red. Yes, I can't believe we all saw it because it's a group of like really excited like marine biologists.
Yes, they're like,
They're like, oh my god, it's so cute. And they're like, oh, did we push it? And they're like, yeah, we used the water to spray some. We used a jet to spray some water on it. It's so cute.
What are you gonna say?
Oh, just came to mind. Y'all think the megalodon still exists, or do you think
No.
it's actually
No.
extinct?
Have you guys seen the Meg?
No.
Yes, but that's like,
Dramaticize.
yeah.
It's the whole plot is that you know the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on
Yeah.
Earth. Their theory is that there's a deeper layer under the Mariana Trench, and they go in their like sub. It goes all the way down to the trench, and it turns out there's a layer of like thermocline, which is like this gaseous barrier. And once they get through the barrier, there's way more
Marine life.
underneath, way more marine life, and that's where the megalodons are. And what happens is when they breach the barrier, it's like really cold fog. So when they breach the barrier, it brings some like warmth through it, and the megalodon follows it out into the like upstairs
Upstairs.
into the upstairs ocean. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the theory. And I don't know. Do we think the Meg still is alive?
I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna say no,
I'm gonna say
even
no.
with 99% of our oceans unexplored.
Because how the fuck do they know it's extinct? How do you know?
Exactly.
Did you
How do you
like?
know?
First of all, the megalodon. I don't think it was a deep sea creature. No.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
What if it
we-
evolves?
It's more of a like upper level shark kind of.
What if it evolved to not be an upper?
Well, then it can stay down there where we don't go.
Please don't come back up.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna put a maybe.
A maybe?
We'll do a
maybe.
maybe.
Okay.
Do we think that there are still dinosaurs down there that we don't know about?
Probably. Maybe some
Honestly, yeah.
aquatic version of a cockroach.
Bye.
A sea roach. Aren't sea roaches a real thing?
Yes.
What?
No.
They're like clear, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really gross.
Yeah. Going back to your question, I do think there are still dinosaur type creatures at the bottom of the. I definitely am.
You're a
I believe in the
believer in
paranormal. I definitely believe magic is real. Like, I definitely think megalodons still exist. Like, how are you gonna know like a species is actually like extinct? Mm-hmm. Because going back to our previous question about discovering new stuff, like if you're out in the forest and you see something and like you don't have the knowledge of it, but you're like, oh, that just looks like, I don't know, like a tiger, but like it's one of the extinct species of tigers that look very similar to the other tigers. How are you gonna know? And you're not gonna document it because you're like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna avoid it. And like the way that they categorize extinct is that it hasn't been seen in the wildlife for so and so long.
Mm-hmm.
So what if just somebody hasn't seen it?
Okay.
I want to know what the person thought whenever they first discovered a kiwi.
Who thought you should eat this?
No,
No, I mean like the kiwi bird.
Before.
Oh,
kiwi bird.
Fruit.
Oh, we can go back to that in just a
Which one's a
second.
kiwi
Have
bird?
you guys seen the
Huh?
big?
It's like a
green
cute
squid?
little like brown bird.
They only walk on two
Oh
legs.
yeah, it's like the brown bird with the long beak,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the one that walks really like forward?
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yes, it's so silly.
Okay.
I saw this video of this thing the other day. It's called the Big Thin Squid, and this shit is terrifying because it's like a body, and then it has these legs that are just like straight lines that go like
I think
really
I'm talking about.
fucking long. And oh yeah, this one's good. It is absolutely
What?
terrifying. Look up a big thin squid. This shit is scary.
Low-key looks
I
like
can't tell if this is a real photo, but I know there are real photos of a creature that's very similar to this. It's like so scary, and like now I know why people think like monsters were a real thing.
That's actually
'Cause,
terrible.
like,
That looks like
right?
a spider underwater.
Yeah,
Get that away from me.
exactly. Underwater spiders.
Looks like an underwater.
Like the deep sea creatures are just so scary and so creepy. Like the blobfish and like the goblin shark that has like
Yup.
the jaw that reaches out and grabs. Like there's so many creepy creatures down there. So like who knows if there's something similar to a dinosaur like hunting in the deep.
I'm so
Maybe
glad
that's
we
what
live on land.
maybe that's what Ocean Gate
That's all I gotta
saw.
say.
Huh?
I'm so glad we live on land.
Thank God to my ancestors for getting me out of there. Do
Yeah.
you guys remember Ocean Gate? It's been a year since that.
Nope.
The mini Titanic that went down with like a PS5 controller.
Oh, the submarine?
Yeah, the
The
submarine.
one that imploded on itself?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's what it was
It's
called.
been a year.
Was that the
I
company
thought you were
name?
talking about the.
I think it was a
The
name.
company's name was Ocean Gate.
The company's name was Ocean
It
Gate.
just happened to be like.
Oh,
Ocean
that's
Gate.
crazy.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't know that. I thought
Watergate.
you were talking about the movie with like the Ocean's 8.
8?
Yeah.
Ocean's 8 is such a good movie.
That's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies.
Anyways, yeah. So
They're seeing the big thin squid down there.
that's the end of the list. The last question,
Really? That was on the list?
very last question, is water wet?
Fuck, I should
I
have said
think-
anything.
I think
everyone leave.
I think
Sit back
We gotta go.
I think to be considered wet, it's just maybe this is game brain rot, but it's considered a status effect. Like
Okay.
it's a state
Yes.
of being, not like the actual thing.
But water is touching other water, therefore making the water wet.
Are we talking about a water?
itself is water. How can you like?
Are you talking about
Can
the
your finger touch itself? Your finger is right here. Like you wouldn't say that this part of your finger is touching this part of your finger. That's all your finger. Like this is still your finger. This is.
Are
not
you touching your
this.
finger like this?
Like this. Are you touching your finger right
Are you
now?
touching your finger?
Yeah. Are you touching your finger?
No,
Then
Water's
then
not
why
wet.
would water be touching water? It's just water.
water is touching water though.
Are you talking about
But-
the molecule of water touching another molecule?
Right.
Okay. Then would the molecule of your finger touching the other molecule of your finger considered touching
so
your
is
finger?
touching your finger?
What?
No, like right now, like this.
I don't
Is
understand
this
your.
finger touching this finger? It's all the same finger. Like, is this part of your finger touching this part of your finger?
When you pour a glass of water into another glass of water, is it 2 waters?
Yes.
No.
It's one water.
Logically.
It's all one water. It's all just one water.
However, if I spilled that water that I just poured into that one glass on myself, then I'm wet.
Yeah. Because when water gets on other things that are not water, then it makes them wet. But I don't think water can make itself wet because it's water. I agree. I think it's a status effect.
It just gets in some bigger water.
You apply 1 unit of water, and then you do 1 unit of pyro to vaporize it.
Girl.
Oh.
You apply a hydro aura
A cryo aura
to
freeze.
freeze.
The brain rot. Bray. We gotta
brain
go.
rot is real. You gotta go. You started this.
Well, actually, no. You started this by asking this question. At the beginning.
I apologize.
I said we'll come back to it, and I will put it on the list. And what did I do?
you
Put it on the list. Yep.
I think it's not wet.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Because you touch water and it makes your fingers wet. But I don't think water itself is wet. I think it applies wetness.
Yeah.
Isn't the act of being wet just water on another thing?
You just proved the point.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So water is
cannot be
on
on water.
What are you
Because
talking about?
water is water. So you wouldn't say like water is on water. You wouldn't say air is on air. It's all just air. So when water is quote unquote on water, they're all part of the same body of water. It's not like, oh, this thing of water is separate from this thing of water. Like
Right.
the whole thing of it is just water. But then when that gets on something,
So you're
makes
saying
it
that
wet.
if I poured Dasani water
yes,
with Fairlife water,
it's still water.
oh.
Okay, bougie. High class water, I guess.
No, I do not like Dasani water.
That's fair. I don't think anyone does.
It's the only. I don't really taste the difference between any like drinks of a kind, but Dasani water is the only one I notice.
Yeah, no, Dasani's like actually the worst.
Why is it spicy?
I don't know. It's
So
just a weird
consensus,
aftertaste.
final consensus.
Water
I
is
guess
not
water
wet.
is not wet.
You can just say water's wet.
Well,
I
no,
just think
your
water's not wet. We're not
explanation
badgering.
makes sense.
Yeah, I just think water itself is non-indivisible, just like the U.S.
Why?
America.
All right. Well, that is the end of my list.
What
So,
now?
Does anybody have any other topics they would like to talk about before the closing of this episode?
How was your 2 days of being jobless?
Okay.
No.
So,
You know, she texted me day one and was like, I hate being jobless. I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. I'm sitting in my
so
house
bored.
rotting all day. Day
What am I gonna
one.
do? What am I gonna do, guys?
She was jobless for 2 days and rearranged her entire fucking shelf.
No, for real.
Stop. Okay, so basically what had happened was I was scheduled to work an event, but then that said event got canceled because of weather. So,
Inclement weather.
I ended up not having to do anything because we'd have a prep day and then it's a 2-day event, like all day.
Mhm.
So the prep was canceled and then I had nothing that day. And then I also had nothing on the 2 days that were the event. One of them would have been today. So that's why the besties were able to get together.
Yippee!
But yesterday and the day before was literally the longest 2 days of my life. Because I'm not used to not doing anything on a single day. Like, if I show you the calendar, it literally
God
has something
save
every
us all.
single day for me.
That
Because I
time
either
tree
have
is
work, I'm hanging out
time
with
tree.
friends, I have, like, D&D, or, I don't know. Like, I have 2 jobs right now, so... Stop!
There's no one in the attic, I swear.
Anyways, so it was just a lot for me to have 2 days off. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it though. I did a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of my laundry, all of it.
Quote unquote off day.
Okay,
You gotta invent chores.
having a lot of fun. I did some D&D stuff. I read some books.
Kind of books.
Actual books?
One actual book.
Or three.
Whoa! Bleep that. Cut the
Whoa,
cams.
whoa.
She's at
These are
Whataburger.
some allegations.
Are they false?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I'm
It was
glad
pretty
we got
nice.
to get together.
I know, me
I'm
too.
really glad it happened.
I'm really glad.
It's been a while. It's been the last time we hung out was actually the last time I saw Isaiah was my birthday party,
Which was in February.
which was in February.
And
So it's
it
been
is
3
June
months,
right
4
now.
months, 3 months, 4 months,
4 months.
March, April, May, June, 4 months. Yeah, so that's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
All right. Well, thank
Got-
you guys for tuning into our pod, season 2, episode 3. I was very happy to be the host for today's episode. I hope y'all don't see me in a different light because of my thoughts.
Many thoughts.
So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure to put our notifications on so you can rate us 5 stars. Thank you. Not
Yeah.
used to this hosting part.
Yeah.
What platforms are we on again, Bray?
Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, YouTube, YouTube Music, Google Podcast, which is now discontinued, so YouTube Music.
Oh no.
We're on all the above.
Right.
Okay.
So basically, like almost all the platforms you can find us.
And
So-
Patreon coming soon.
Patreon's
Wow.
coming soon. Pay
That's
us for
crazy.
sitting here and talking.
For unedited episodes, right?
The actual.
Okay, unreleased edited clip.
Okay. You actually get inside info on all the shit we've been talking behind the scenes. If you
Get the
subscribe, you get the names. You get the names. You get the
No.
bleeped out
The
parts.
names are bleeped out, but everything else.
Yeah,
you're
but
here
you
to
get
see.
everything else.
Let's go watch Inside Out 2 right now, guys.
Let's go. What time?
I'm watching it tomorrow
Yeah,
with
I
my
know.
family.
And
So what?
we're your family now.
Exactly. We
You
kidnapped
are
her.
honestly. If y'all want to, I'll go watch it again tomorrow. Cry about it. You know. Do they have a showing right now? I'd be down.
Really? I would also be down.
Would y'all be down? It is 9:30.
I would be down. I got nothing to do. Bray,
What do I have to be, guys?
I'm just making sure.
you got nothing to do.
What do I have to do?
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways.
anyways, we will figure out this planning later.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, we got
Make sure
a-
to catch us on all of
We
our
got a 9:45
platforms.
showing.
As I'm talking.
Sorry.
This has been an episode of
Just
my opinion.
All right. My throat kind of hurts now.
We were talking about Kirby Mexicans about not. The fuck? Oh, you're lucky she got high. You fucking normal. You fucking normal. Stop being so God.
Pull up in a monster on my dog gangster.
Please take a shower. I'm gonna have to talk to my manager while
You're ruining Christmas!